my veins. We summon you together! Come!
12 upcoming horror TV series for 2022. Welcome back to yet another day with Marvelous Videos. Today we have another exciting video for all you horror fans out there. With the year 2021 coming to an end, all of the new TV series that released this year did not disappoint us. And we are ready to step into the year 2022, and there are a lot of new and interesting TV shows in the making and ready for release throughout this year.
Please don't. A man protects his family.
A lot of these series have been in production for a long time now, and some still are. That just leaves the fans all the more intrigued and excited. From gifted creators like Neil Gaiman, Rolin Jones, and Mike Flanagan, among others, 2022 has in store some of the much-awaited horror series, like The Sandman, Interview with the Vampire, The Last of Us, and a lot more. So, brace yourself for a fantastically terrifying experience. Let's take a peek at these 12 upcoming horror TV series for 2022. Before we get into today's explanation, however, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks. Now, let's get rolling. Alien. The upcoming Alien TV series, created by Noah Hawley for FX on Hulu, is a new entry into the Alien franchise. If you're wondering, where do I know Noah Hawley from? Well, it's probably from his reinvention of yet another classic, Fargo, based on the Coen brothers' 1996 film of the same name. Many of the casting updates and plot elements are still unknown, but filming will begin in March 2022 and will include some crazy visual effects. It'll most likely take place in Thailand, as well as other possible East European locations. Now, who wouldn't remember that the Alien franchise began with Ridley Scott's film of the same name back in 1979, which saw Ellen Ripley, a protagonist, who encounters an ultra-violent extraterrestrial lifeform known as a xenomorph. So far, pretty much all Alien stuff has always been surrounded in the confines of a prison or a spaceship, but with this new TV series, Hawley will be taking the Alien franchise in a new direction. It will be set in the distant future, here on Earth, something that has never been seen before, and with some brand new characters as well, so don't expect to see any more of Ellen Ripley. With Ridley Scott as the executive producer, this series will surely give you an exciting dive into the world of Alien. 10 After Midnight. Next we have on the list the acclaimed Academy Award-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro's upcoming Netflix original horror anthology series, which was previously known as 10 After Midnight. It was first sold to the streaming service back in 2018 under its working title. The show's new title is Cabinet of Curiosities. Let's take a look at what we know so far. The series will have a collection of 8 episodes, with terrifyingly scary horror stories handpicked by Del Toro himself. And to add an even more personal touch, 2 of these stories will be Del Toro's original works. Exciting, right? Let's see the breakdown of the stars, writers, and directors for each episode specifically chosen by Del Toro. Jennifer Kent will direct an episode based on Del Toro's original story, which will star Essie Davis and Hannah Galway. F. Murray Abraham, Luke Roberts, and Glynn Turman will appear in an episode directed by David Pryor and written by David S. Goyer, based on a short story by Michael Shea. Tim Blake Nelson, Elpidia Carrillo, Demetrius Gross, and Sebastian Roach will star in an episode written by Regina Corrado and directed by Guillermo Navarro, again based on an original story by Del Toro. Crispin Glover and Punisher's Ben Barnes will star in another episode written by Lee Patterson and directed by Keith Thomas that is based on a short story by none other than H.P. Lovecraft. Peter Weller will come in, starring in an episode directed by Panos Cosmatos, who co-writes alongside Aaron Stewart Ann. Catherine Hardwicke will direct an episode written by Mika Watkins, based once again on a short story by H.P. Lovecraft. This episode's cast is yet to be confirmed, however. David Hewlett has been cast in an episode written and directed by Vincenzo Natali, which is based on Henry Kuttner's short story. And lastly, Anna Lily Amirpour will direct an episode written by Haley Z. Boston, based on a short story by comic book author Emily Carroll, again with a cast that's yet to be announced. Such a dynamic list of directors will surely satisfy all the horror fans. With that, an exciting addition to the cast is Harry Potter's Rupert Grint. Well, looks like Del Toro is going to leave the fans excited and screaming with joy. The production has already begun in Toronto, Canada, and we can expect to see it in Halloween 2022.
Hello?
Archive 81. Did you ever imagine watching a horror series based on a podcast? Well, now you have one. An upcoming Netflix original horror series, Archive 81, is loosely based on the podcast of the same name. The series is about an archivist, Dan Turner, who takes a job recovering some damaged videotapes from 1994. Now, while deconstructing the works of a documentary filmmaker, Melody Pandras, he gets dragged into her investigation of a bloody cult. And as the season progresses, we will see Dan becoming obsessed with the findings, and as to what happened to Melody. Dan also thinks that he can save her from the horrific end she met 25 years ago.
Basically, it looks exactly like a million other buildings in the city.
The cast will have Mamadou Ache as Dan Turner and Dana Shababi as Melody Pendras. Some of the supporting characters will be played by Martin Donovan from Big Little Lies, Julia Chan from Katie Keene, and Matt McGorry from How to Get Away with Murder, amongst others. The Vampire Diaries' Rebecca Schonenschein is the showrunner, and James Wan from The Conjuring as the executive producer, along with the Atomic Monster Productions, his own production company. And guess what? Rebecca Thomas, the director of Stranger Things, will be directing 4 episodes, including the pilot. Looks like this show might be jaw-dropping. The filming took place in the soundstage at Marshall Township, Northside Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, as well as the city's downtown area. Archive 81 will have 8 one-hour episodes. That's 8 hours of your life that you will not regret. With a dark and emotional romance at its core, you're about to be thrilled with this terrifying adventure set to release on January 14th, 2022. The Last of Us. HBO's adaptation of Naughty Dog's video game of the same name, The Last of Us, tells the story of Joel, a seasoned survivor who is hired to smuggle a 14-year-old Ellie out of a restrictive quarantine zone. Set 20 years after the destruction of modern civilization, a small job quickly turns into a terrible and devastating journey, as both the protagonists must travel across the United States and rely on each other for survival. Now, you must be thinking if this show will cover the events from the original game. Well, yes, it definitely will, and the extra additional content will probably be based on the game's sequel, along with new changes by its creators. Let's have a look at its interesting cast. Joel will be played by The Mandalorian's Pedro Pascal, alongside Game of Thrones' Bella Ramsey as Ellie. That is such an incredible duo. The show's creators, Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, will also give us some amazing characters, such as Gabriel Luna as Tommy, Joel's younger brother, Nico Parker as Joel's daughter Sarah, Merle Dandridge as Marlene, the Firefly's leader, and Anna Troff as Tess, Joel's friend and fellow smuggler, amongst others. The first season of The Last of Us will have 10 episodes, and we can expect further seasons that will cover the game's sequel story. Expect this series to land on HBO in late 2022. The Midnight Club. Are you ready for another chilling horror addition to Netflix? After the insane success of Midnight Mass, Mike Flanagan and Trevor Macy brings us yet another horror series, The Midnight Club. It is based on a young adult novel of the same name by author Christopher Pike. And be ready to get even more excited because it will include some of the other works by Pike as well. The Midnight Club will follow a group of terminally ill teenagers who live in the Rotterdam Home Hospice, which is run by an unusual and strange doctor. Things soon start to go wrong after they all decide that the first one to die will be in charge of connecting with the rest of the group from beyond the grave. And even stranger things happen after one of them dies. The series, starring Eman Benson, Adia, Igby Rigney, Ruth Codd, Aya Furukawa, Anara Simone, William Chris Supner, and Sarayan Sapkota, amongst others, wrapped production in September of 2021. It also stars horror legend Leather Langenkamp and Midnight Mass alums Samantha Sloyan, Zach Clifford, Robert Longstreet, and Matt Bedell. Flanagan is ready to sweep the horror fans off their feet sometime in this coming year.
I've missed you so much.
Megan, what are you doing?
Maybe I can come in.
From. Brace yourself for some gory creatures that are coming your way in Epic's horror series called From. On the production, we have the Russo brothers, Jack Bender and Jeff Pinker, as the executive producers, with the series creator John Griffin. If you are already not convinced that this is going to be an epic supernatural horror series, well, then let's find out what's been going on in From. The mystery of a nightmarish town in Middle America that traps all the people who enter is discovered in the series. Now, as the reluctant residents struggle to maintain a sense of sanity and focus on finding a way out, they also have to survive through the dangers of the surrounding forest, including the gruesome creatures that suddenly appear when the sun goes down. Okay, that will definitely be a chilling story to watch if you ask us. The cast of this interestingly terrifying show is led by Harold Perrineau from Lost, Catalina Sandino Moreno, Ian Bailey, Hannah Cherami, Simon Webster, Ricky Hay, Sean Majumder, and David Alpay, among others. Look out on February 20th, 2022 for the release of From on Epix. The Witcher: Blood Origin. Inspired from the work of Andrzej Sapkowski, The Witcher has won all of our hearts with the adventures of Geralt of Rivia, who has been a monster hunter. And who was not binging the new season of The Witcher recently? Well, for all of The Witcher fans, Netflix has a lot more in store for you in 2022. It's planning to get us even more involved with the Witcher franchise by releasing a prequel, The Witcher: Blood Origin. The plot of this series will be roughly set 1200 years before The Witcher, in the Elven world. It will focus on the creation of the first of its kind, the Witcher prototype, the tale of which has been lost over the years. The show will explain how a series of events led to the creation of a single world in which all men, monsters, and elves lived alongside each other due to the interconnection of different spheres. That is a crazy jump into the world of the Witcher series. The prequel is going to make 2022 worth the wait. It will not be a surprise if you end up binge-watching this series as well. The production was wrapped up in November, but we still have to wait to find out the official release date. The cast of The Witcher: Blood Origin will include Sophia Brown, Lenny Henry, Lawrence O'Farrane, Nathaniel Curtis, Dylan Moran, Amy Murray, and many others. Resident Evil. 2022 is the year to always keep your Netflix running. Fans have been waiting to know about this upcoming Netflix original live-action series, Resident Evil, that is based on the Capcom game of the same name. The story is likely to take place in the course of two timelines. The first involves 14-year-old sisters Jade and Billy Wesker, moving to New Raccoon City. They start to suspect that their father might be hiding dark and deadly secrets that could destroy the world. The second timeline takes place in the future, after a decade, where only 15 million humans are alive and over 6 billion animals and humans have been infected with the T-virus. It follows Jade, who is now 30, as she tries to find her way and survive in this world. Season 1 of Resident Evil will have 8 episodes, and the first episode is called Welcome to New Raccoon City. The iconic role of Albert Wesker will be played by Lance Reddick. With Andrew Dabb as the writer, some of the other cast members include Ella Balinska, Tamara Smart, Sienna Agudong, and others. This series is now in its post-production phase, so all you gamers, get your thrill on and hold on tight to expect to hear the official release date in 2022.
Need all the help you can get.
The Sandman. We have seen several comic book adaptations in Netflix, from Lock and Key to several Marvel TV shows. Well, now we have yet another high-profile adventurous Netflix adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. It is based on the comic book series that is centered on the Dream King, Morpheus, and the people and places that he has affected. We will find him trying to make amends for his mistakes, as well as trying to reclaim his lost power after being imprisoned. If you are any sort of fantasy fan, then you probably can't wait to binge watch this series, which will have 11 episodes. It will cover the stories from the first 2 comic book volumes, Preludes and Nocturnes, and The Doll's House. The first teaser trailer dropped in September, and the fans impatiently waited for the release date. The Sandman's filming was wrapped in July, so looks like we can expect an early spring release, or sometime in summer of 2022. The cast will include Game of Thrones alumni Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, with Tom Sturridge as Dream, Lord of Dreaming, Mason Alexander Park as Desire, and Kirby Howell-Baptiste as Death, among others. With such an exciting cast, could The Sandman be the pop culture new attention of 2022? Well, we are sure that even you can't wait to find out.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you.
Hellraiser TV Show. Every horror buff knows that Hellraiser has been the longest running and best horror franchises of all time. As a 10-movie franchise, watching Pinhead torture people, we now have a new unrelated adaptation of Clive Barker's original novel, The Hellbound Heart, brought to us in the way of a TV series. One of the best creepy and horrific sagas out there. What began as a sharp thriller from adultery and vengeance from beyond the grave will now be brought to us on our small screens. Although we still don't know the plot, fans can hope that Hellraiser the TV series will remind us all about Pinhead and his fellow Cenobites, who are former humans whose obsession with gratification turned them into disturbing monsters.
I am pain.
Coming from HBO, the script for Hellraiser is already set in motion. It is being written by Mark Verheiden and Michael Dougherty, both of whom have some serious experience when it comes to action, sci-fi, and horror. So that is definitely a relief for longtime Hellraiser fans. Another great news is that David Gordon Green will direct the pilot, along with several other episodes. The executive producer of the series is the Halloween reboot creative team comprising of David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, Jody Hill, and Brandon James. That's hell of a lot exciting. Well, hopefully, as always, HBO won't disappoint us even now. In from the cold. If you are still wondering what to look forward to in 2022, Netflix definitely has you covered with its upcoming original crime series, In from the Cold, written and produced by Adam Glass, who is known for the CW's Supernatural. And on directing duties, we have Amy Cannon and Birgitta Stermus. The series is about an American single mother whose life is flipped upside down while on vacation in Europe with her daughter, when the CIA forces her to confront her long-buried past as a Russian spy, who is also the product of a highly classified KGB experiment that granted her special powers. Jenny is forced to come out of hiding after a mysterious series of violence and deadly episodes suggest that someone with her exact powers is targeting innocent people. Now she has to stop this villain or risk losing her family and new life. An extremely exciting show that we will get to binge on January 28, 2022, with all 8 episodes available. The filming took place in Madrid, Spain. With the Netflix debuts, we have on the cast Margarita Lavilla as Jenny, who has also been seen in Adventureland and The Lincoln Lawyer, along with Killian O'Sullivan from Vikings, and The Blacklist as Chauncey. Also, as her acting debut, Lydia Fleming will be playing Becca, and The Punisher's Charles Bryce plays the role of Chris, among other characters. Interview with the Vampire. Lastly, we have something new for the vampire fans. Based on Anne Rice's novel, Interview with the Vampire will most likely explore the story within the book, but with a lot of interesting changes by the showrunner Rolin Jones. The new series with AMC might give us a whole new vampire world, because guess what? AMC has acquired the rights for the Rice book series, The Vampire Chronicles, which includes Interview with the Vampire and The Lives of the Mayfair Witches. Anne Rice will be connected to the series as an executive producer, with Alan Taylor as series director. Game of Thrones alumni Jacob Anderson will be seen on the lead role of Lewis, with Sam Reed playing Lestat. Bailey Bass will play Claudia, while Colleen Coleman, a newcomer, will appear in the role of Lewis's sister, Grace. With the filming taking place in New Orleans, Louisiana, expect to watch this show sometime in late of 2022. Don't give up your hopes just yet, because this series might just turn out to be the next Walking Dead for AMC. With 2022 being full of some of the craziest upcoming horror TV series, we hope you liked this video. Comment down below and let us know which series you're most excited about. Till then, have a good one, be safe, and thanks for watching.
You're gonna need all the help you can get.